I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What the fuck even is that?
Elton John.
Now
that was
shitting. What's that one song? I'm so excited, I just can't hide it.
We're wasting all our outro.
I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. That's the next lyric. So that's in Transformers 2 when the when Bumblebee and Shia LaBeouf are gonna go to college, and then he gets tongue licked by the lady Transformer.
Yes.
Yes.
That scene was really hot.
He gets his pussy licked by the robot. Yerp. And then he screams like a girl, and then Megan Fox throws a can of aerosol at it. Or something.
I thought you threw a wrench at it.
I don't know.
Anyways, enough about Transformers. Welcome to the MD cast, everybody.
Yeah, we talk about Scooby-Doo now.
Yeah, we watched Scooby-Doo today. We're going to watch more Scooby-Doo when we're done here. You can't stop us. This is my life, Mom.
Yeah.
Why would your mom stop you from watching Scooby-Doo?
My mom are very disappointed in me.
No, they're not.
Your mom are
if
not...
they knew how I live.
Your mom are not Hanna-Barbera.
I think your moms know how you live.
I don't think they know the extent of how I live.
Wowza.
Anyway, we watched Scoobert Doobert today. We decided that they got Scooby-Doo on Amazon, and we decided we're going to start watching Scooby-Doo, a Scooby-Doo-a-thon, if you will. And we all chose a Scooby-Doo movie that we are watching. We have seen 2 out of 3 tonight, and we're going to discuss them now.
The first one was Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf.
Yes, a classic Scoobert Doobert movie picked by me because I have fond memories of it from being a kidling, and I was not disappointed.
Can I be honest?
Yes.
I would have rather watched Cyber Chase.
I know you would have, but you want me to be honest?
What?
I really, really, really would rather have not watched the Cyber Chase.
Do you hate it or something?
Kyle, what if we substituted it with the alien one instead?
That would have been acceptable.
Okay.
But did anyone say the alien one?
Yeah, he wanted to watch the
I
alien
wanted
one.
the alien one, but
wanted...
literally everybody else wanted Zombie Island, I was like, okay, let's just watch Zombie Island. So we're going to watch Zombie Island next after the podcast, so you don't get our nail-biting take on Zombie Island right now.
Yeah.
But you get the Reluctant Werewolf review extensively, and then you get the fucking Witch's Ghost review.
Yeah.
I figured we all agreed, like...
Izzy! Continue.
Eric asked me to choose from the list.
Yeah.
I chose Cyber Chase, the Witch's Ghost, and Zombie Island.
Yeah.
I figured us 3 unanimously chose the last 2.
Well, and here's the thing.
I wanted the Witch's Ghost.
Me and Eric were talking about it, and if I'm being honest, this is what I said about the Cyber Chase. I said, the Cyber Chase is a classic. I do like the Cyber Chase. I've seen it so many goddamn times that I would rather watch any other Scooby-Doo movie.
Listen.
Okay.
It's the prequel to Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Okay, do you have proof?
They both take place on the internet.
You know what else takes place on the internet?
What?
Chris Chin.
Yeah, checkmate, atheist.
Yeah. That's what I like to...
What 3 movies did you choose?
Well, I didn't... Because we were initially deciding on what movies to watch. And I basically said, like... Because initially I said, I want to watch the... I chose, like, the usuals. Witch's Ghost, Zombie Island, and Reluctant Werewolf. Because Reluctant Werewolf was basically my...
There's still some left in there.
Reluctant Werewolf was basically my, like... My niche choice. It was the one that I cared about more than anyone else did, and I kind of got Eric interested in it, but he kind of went back on that afterwards. But I stuck with it, and we basically thought, like, we can only watch so many. So I said, let's get Tyler's vote, throw him some ideas, and see what he thinks, so we can kind of break the ice. And of course, you chose one that we didn't want to watch, and then 2 that we did want to watch. So I basically said, all right, how about this? We're watching 3 movies. There's 3 of us. each of us picks one movie that we want to watch.
Oh, I figured that not Kyle, Eric took all of like our inputs in and just chose the common movies we all said.
Like, yeah, the common movies was definitely a thing involved in it.
But it just seems like
because I took the utilitarian one and I was like, okay, everybody wants to watch Zombie Island, so I was like, I guess I'll pick Zombie Island, even though I really wanted to watch the Alien one.
Honestly, I probably would prefer to watch the Alien one over the fucking Reluctant Werewolf.
I wanted to watch that one.
I wanted to watch the Alien one over the Reluctant Werewolf too, but Kyle really wanted to watch the Reluctant Werewolf.
Why didn't you ask me?
I did ask you, and you said you wanted to watch Cyber Chase. You wanted to watch Cyber Chase, The Witch's Ghost, and fucking Zombie Island.
But if you wanted to watch the Alien one, you could have said, okay, here's the tiebreaker between Reluctant Werewolf or the Alien one.
I wanted to watch Zombie Island.
It's ultimately a confused
scenario. We're not going to watch Zombie Island after. We're going to go watch the Loch Ness Monster one instead.
No. I want to jam out while I watch the movie.
I want to jerk off. We're going to watch the fucking Witch's Ghost again. This all started by me and Kyle getting in a heated debate about the Hex Girls for 2 hours as well.
What was the debate about?
The Hex Girls.
It wasn't. we were in a deep discussion about the Hex Girls and their transformation as they appeared in the other series. Because like the main one, like Thorn, she barely changes. The blonde one, who I forgot the name of, she changes like notably,
not Luna.
But yeah, she's not Luna. But she changes like notably, but not like huge changes. They basically change her hairstyle a bit and make her face less like blocky.
Maybe was her name Fang?
Fang. It was probably Fang.
Something like that.
Thorn, Fang.
Fucking Luna, the other one, she changes quite notably in each series to the point where you would not recognize her in the latest series.
I have to say, I just like her original one the most, probably. At this point.
And we went around in circles. We were looking at them all, and he finally comes around at the end and is like, yeah, I like her original one. And I'm like, I can respect that. She got that old frizzle hair, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She looks like the girl that peed on the guy on stage.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one.
I talk about that one.
Listen,
yeah, you do, but we wish you wouldn't.
Here's a question that came up while watching The Reluctant Werewolf.
Ask me your question.
If you had to choose what kind of monster you could turn into, and it still follows the same lines. If you hiccup, you turn back to human.
Okay, so the same, like, okay, yeah.
Which monster do you choose?
I mean, my favorite monster has always been, like, Wendigos and shit. Probably go, like, the modern pop culture rendition where it's, like, Deer Skull and shit. Like, big, tall motherfucker. I think that'd be cool. But honestly, other than that, probably werewolf. I actually do like werewolves.
What kind of werewolf, though?
Like, what kind?
Do you want to go for, like, giant Van Helsing werewolf? Or basically what happened with Shaggy, where it's just a slight change and he gets furry?
Well, I feel if it was just a slight change and I get furry, then there's no point in being a werewolf, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, you gotta become, like, the big wolf man. So I'd say probably one of those. Like, granted, I guess the hazard here is, like, the idea of being, like, the animalistic werewolf, and, like, you hiccup and suddenly, like, a family of 4 is dead in Ireland.
Man, it always comes back to Ireland.
It always comes back to Matthew Broderick. It was actually a family of 2, but whatever. But, you know...
So much better.
2 less dead children.
What about you, Eric?
I already struggle with humanity as is, man. Probably just a vampire, honestly.
Just go like full vampire. We'll go Dracula. Be a very very dirty guy.
A very dirty guy.
That's what. This brings in the question: what kind of vampire?
I'd say probably the one that's like more bat-like, like actually has wings, like not Nosferatu, but like the main villain that's in like the Underworld series, like the second movie, that one.
Yes.
Yeah, probably that one.
I was thinking either him or the actual like Dracula from Van Helsing. You remember when he goes into like his vampire form?
He goes,
Or the vampire form that you can turn into in Skyrim.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I was thinking
Yeah.
of, like the true vampire.
Probably
form.
that one. Something like that.
That's a pretty neat form.
I wouldn't mind just going off into a forest, turning into that, and butchering a couple deers, and then coming back in the morning.
That'd be pretty neat.
Here's another question.
Yeah.
If you could change the method that it takes to make you turn, what would it be?
Probably something that I have control over.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I was gonna
Well, I
make
feel
a
like
joke
what-
and say picking my nose or something, because then I could like actively control when I'm doing it.
Well, listen, when you pick your nose, you actually have to physically take out a booger. It's not you just
must remove the.
It's not like you just put your finger in your nose. You actually have
How much
to...
booger has to come out? Because, like, you can put your finger in your nose and, like, it's a little bit damp.
Nah, that wouldn't work.
Like, it has...
You gotta take out a
It has to
solid
be a
boogie.
solid
Does it have to
chunk.
be, like, kind of crusty? Or...
Yes.
So, like,
Okay.
you'd have a lot more leeway in the winter then.
Yeah, I guess.
Winter werewolf or
Yeah.
something like that. You know what I'm saying?
You get, like, the white fur.
Yeah.
But it's honestly hard to think of like something that I could willingly do.
Every time I stick a fork in an outlet...
No.
Why? Well, you said what my method is. That's what I want my method to be.
What if you just pick something really like silly? Like it's like, oh, every time I flick the top of my ears downward, I turn into a werewolf. So you're sitting there like, oh, you're making me mad. I'm gonna go beast mode. You like flick your ears, and suddenly you turn into a werewolf.
What if I have like one of those hats that like the people have in cartoons, like the kids with the big lollipops, and they have the helicopter hats.
Okay,
You
the little
wear
propeller
hats?
hats.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry, and I flick that. And I turn...
Okay, but do you have to be wearing the hat?
Yes.
Yes.
So you have to be wearing the hat.
You have to be wearing
Well, how
the
would I
hat.
flick the hat if it's not on my head?
Well, you just you'll take it out of your pocket. And you're like, ping.
No, you have to wear it, and when you flick it, it has to do 5 complete rotations.
Okay, you gotta flick it with. You gotta mean business.
Exactly.
I have,
Okay.
I have to really be pissed off.
Exactly.
Like, okay. What? I just imagine a kid coming out like, you won't like when I'm angry. And he pulls out like one of those little like paper pinwheels and just like furiously blowing on it.
That could work.
What if it was every time you like pull one of those Thanksgiving things apart and it
A
explodes?
wishbone.
I was thinking like a Christmas cracker.
Yeah, like a Christmas cracker.
You said
thing.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he did say Thanksgiving.
Well,
so
we
wishbone
my
makes
family
sense.
does it on Thanksgiving because we're weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. They're typically seen as a Christmas thing. You
Yeah.
take them and you like throw
The Christmas
pull 'em apart.
cracker, you
Yeah,
get-
I
so
know
you
I'm
get-
not fucking normal.
you get like
So you
a
got the
paper crown and like a
Yeah.
piece of candy, along with like a fortune cookie.
It's like, hey, you want to do this Christmas cracker with me? You're like,
What's the rule to that?
Christmas crackers?
Yeah, it's
You
like
do it on
'cause
Christmas, but my family is a
You
bunch
pull
of
them apart.
lawbreakers.
When you pull them apart,
It explodes.
yeah, one side is like longer than because like half of it is like in one side.
oh, so it basically
But-
goes off wishbone rule.
Yeah, it goes. It's the same thing. Each person pulls it apart, and whoever gets the bigger part gets the stuff in the bigger part.
Ah, nice.
We
So
always just
you
got
get
enough
bit.
for ourselves to have one.
Yeah, but it does.
Well,
defeat
that's the
spirit
whole
of the
point.
thing.
Like whenever like you're at your dinner table with your family,
But it's my
each person
crown. I
has
don't
one.
want to have the opportunity to lose my crown. My fragile kingdom.
It's just,
The very
it's just a
important
little
crown.
little game you can play.
Yeah, little holiday.
You think
game.
this is a fucking game?
This is a fucking game? But yeah,
I would take something like cracking a finger.
Cracking a finger.
like
I crack my f-
like just cracking,
I
like
just-
oh yeah, cracking my knuckles, or cracking as in I snap my finger back in a violent
Just
display.
Cracking your knuckles, but the catch is, you have to crack every finger.
You see, the problem I have with that is that I do that habitually.
Yeah, I do too. I don't want to do that.
Like that's my hang up with these
Well, that's-
criteria. I want it to be something I can control, but there are so like I could say like, oh, every time I snap my fingers I turn. But if I know I'm just gonna be sitting there alone, I'm gonna be like, yeah, snapping to some music or something, and
suddenly I'm a Wendigo.
I'm a fucking beast, and I'm like, I gotta go kill a family of 3 now.
Like, imagine if I made mine every time I burp.
Like, imagine if Tyler's like, every time I fart on the mic.
Listen, I haven't done that in a while.
You farted on our fucking Coke cans.
That's different.
How is it different, Tyler?
Because I didn't fart on a mic.
Yeah, I mean, he farted on the Coke cans. Like, legally speaking, it is different.
It's just little things like that, and there has to be, like,
just
a
early
requirement.
things.
But, Tyler, you never told us what monster you would be.
Yeah.
No one asked me.
Well,
I figured you were just gonna say.
No, that's what always happens when I do this type of shit. Like, I always ask you two, and no one just asks me.
Well, you just gotta blast in, or else we're just gonna keep going.
I kind of expected, like, before you moved on, I figured you'd be like, also I'd be like,
no, because I figured you guys would be like, oh, what about you, Tyler?
Well, what would you be then,
yeah,
Tyler?
well, I'm asking you because
I'm asking you now.
You were going off, and I'm like, I don't want to harsh your mojo, but now I want to know: would you be Swamp Thing? What would you be?
Well, you chose werewolf/Wendigo.
Yeah, something like that.
You chose like whack vampire.
Vampire.
Man.
I mean, you can be the same as one of us.
Yeah,
It's not like a territorial.
Vampire buddies. You could just
by
like,
all
pit
means,
yourself
you're not
against
gonna
me.
get like points taken away from being a vampire or werewolf.
I know, but like, I kind of want to be something else. I think it'd be interesting.
What do you want to be?
You want to complete the trifecta. What would you be?
What would be a really cool thing that no one would really...
I was going to say ghost, but that'd just be killing yourself.
Yeah! I was like, how would I do the action to turn back when I literally can't do anything?
Well, it could be like Danny Phantom.
True.
But it's not like he can crack his fingers,
Yeah,
pick
he
his
can.
nose.
Yeah, he can.
He interacts with all sorts of physical
You can
things.
be an alien, too.
Oh, dude, be like a little fucking Furon, dude.
I would be...
You can be a demon, too. We didn't even factor in demons. You want to be a demon?
I'd be a demon.
What kind of demon?
Big demon.
I would be... Honestly, when I straight up thought of demon, I thought of like the fucking... the Beast of Darkness.
Okay, yeah. Funny symbolic beast of evil darkness. Berserker.
Funny dog.
Funny dog does a big bark, needs people.
Exactly.
Yep.
Very base.
Quite based. In fact, red-pilled. Mir is dead.
Shut up. We're not talking about that.
Don't fucking say that to me again. You're gonna make me cry.
Gonna release the Beast of Darkness.
None of us have ever cried or apologized on microphone before.
Apologize for what?
I don't know.
For being what we are.
I think we should make an apology video.
Listen,
Public apology video.
society made me like this.
Society!
You know, I think it's come to the point that we say we're sorry for what we did.
You know, I know why we haven't made an apology video.
Because we aren't sorry.
No,
Exactly.
well, no, but that never stops anyone. You know, people make apology videos all the time when they don't actually give a shit. The problem is that when you make an apology video, you need to have like a cute dog, and all we have is Izzy.
Yeah, Izzy's actually a cunt.
Yeah, we can't bring her down and be like, oh, it's so hard to make this video, Izzy, because she's just gonna sit there like, bark, 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 bark.
Yeah.
I hate Izzy, man.
What if we have Tyler
I like Izzy.
What if we have Tyler laying across our lap and he's like also saying he's sorry,
dressed in like a Scooby-Doo
but we're like
onesie.
petting the top of his head.
We've been coming here for like how many years now? And Izzy still don't like us?
No,
I've gotten Izzy to temporarily accept me.
Izzy doesn't like anybody. She doesn't even like me. She's not a dog. She's a cat in a dog's body, and the only way, instead of scratching or hissing at people, she just barks at them.
She's just rage incarnate.
I have managed to soothe the beast for a precious half minute before.
You know
and
how
that is a triumphing
You know how that
achievement.
happened? I was holding her.
There
You
was
bribed her with
one
snacks.
time I managed to pet her while she was on the floor and doing her own thing. She left and then started barking shortly after that, and I remember your mom was like, "Wow, you actually did it!" And then she started barking. She's like, "Gizzy!" And I'm like, for a moment I was king.
Oh.
Atop your very tiny throne.
Yeah, it's atop my tiny little throne before my guard dog Cerberus turned on me. But, you know, that was there and this is now.
You know, I keep saying it, but she's really just such a nice dog when absolutely nobody else outside of the family is around.
I don't believe you.
That's fair. I mean, my cat was like that.
Your cat loved me.
No, the other cat that didn't like you.
Oh, that's because
The black
I rubbed
cat.
That's because I rubbed its belly. Or was that cat?
You would never have gotten near that cat's belly.
Cause I remember one of your cats, like when I hung out at your place, just rolled like literally just sat on my foot.
Yeah, that was my other cat.
It rolled onto its back and it was like, "What's up, fam?"
Yeah, that was my cat that recently passed. Because that cat was very friendly to everyone.
Yeah.
My other cat that was actually my mother's cat was this black cat, and she seemingly hated everybody, you know, growling, swiping, like fucking hissing at people. Turns out she was just a very sensitive little lass, and I got her to love me, and it was a great crowning achievement in my life. And then she died, and I got sad.
Damn.
Speaking of pets, Sam told me something recently.
Did you finally eat a dog?
No.
Damn.
He has
Oh,
a pet hamster, and you know, hamsters have like the fixed lifespan of like kind of 2 years.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
2-3 years.
They don't live long.
And like, he's attached to it, but his girlfriend is really attached to it. And he said like, man, Eric, it would be really funny if like after it died, like, cause he has the mentality of like it's dead and it's gone. So he was gonna be like, it's dead! It's fucking dead! And he was gonna, like, be crying and everything, but he would throw its body at the wall or in the garbage can.
I think you're forgetting the important part that he'd call over his girlfriend first and do this in front of her.
It's fucking
And if I recall you saying, you brought up the hypothetical of doing this at someone's funeral.
Yeah.
And the only reason he wouldn't is because he physically cannot pick up the body and throw it.
Listen.
And I'm like, okay, but I'm the crazy one. I'm the one that everybody else at work is afraid of, but I wouldn't do that.
We'll do that to Eric.
Yeah.
You know what? Please do. Like, I've been dropping hints on how to make my funeral more interesting because I feel like not a lot of people are gonna be there.
You say dropping hints. You literally just said shoot me out of a cannon when I'm dead.
It would just really be funny, like it's you, Sam, and I, like up at his fucking like casket.
We start doing the coffin dance and we just whip him at a
It's
wall.
not even that. We'll just be like, Eric's gone. Then just suddenly.
I want you guys to fight over my body like a bunch of hyenas. Like, pull me out of the coffin and literally draw and quarter me.
We all just sprint and out different doors with a fucking limb. Then someone runs back in for the fucking
Put a
the
speaker
torso.
in my mouth and make, like, screaming sounds.
You know what would be really funny?
What?
As he's laying there in his casket. Because I feel like in his fucking will, he'd be like, oh, bury me in a hat. You know what I would do? I'd take the hat off and just go... right on top of his head. It'd be like, one last time, brother. Oh.
Beautiful.
I want you to, like, fill me with fruit gushers.
Fucking
then
jump on your
And then
stomach.
somebody comes over and pushes my stomach, and it's just like...
Just fucking, like liquidized fruit gushers come out of his fucking, like, eyes and mouth and
Just
shit.
set up a thing, a hole in the back of your neck or the back of your head, and a tube, and it's full of confetti. And we have a thing
press the
set up.
stomach.
We have a thing set up underneath the fucking coffin at an open casket, and then like someone comes up and gives their like obituary thing, or they like give their final words, and they say, and he was partying the animal, and then someone hits the button and goes, beep, shoots confetti out of your mouth.
Bro, you want to know something? I think Eric's mom would pass the fuck out if she saw that.
Yeah.
She would faint on the spot.
I mean, you say that, but I also tell her all of these ideas as well. I think she would be like, yeah, par for the course. I kind of expected it.
You've had so many years to prep for this.
Oh my god.
Speaking of confetti out of the mouth and funerals and a wonderful time, Tyler, you had a dream that may or may not relate to any of this.
Kinda does.
Oh no.
It involves a lot of death.
Oh no. You sounded like me, Tyler. That's a bad thing.
Let me pull up my phone real quick.
Yeah, Tyler's been saving this one. He thinks it's very special.
Because it was
share it today.
scary, and like I vividly remember every second.
That is pretty scary. I hate when I remember things.
Okay, where is it? Okay.
Tell me where it is.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Okay, I got the general consensus of it. Because I
These
couldn't put down every detail. But let's...
Kind of like the level of things that I put into Kyle's messages in the morning.
Yeah. But, alright. Hear me out.
I'm hearing.
It was Wednesday, I think, I had this dream. Actually, I could probably check the fucking note. Okay.
You actually remember the days you had dreams. That's fucking crazy, dude.
Every night in my dreams, I see
What's
you,
today?
Ivy.
So, yeah, it would have been... Actually, I think it was the day after
Wednesday.
we put my papa into the fucking mausoleum at the...
Oh, he actually passed away?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that.
So I have this. It's his ring.
Oh, that's his... I was actually thinking of asking about that.
I'll explain this after.
Oh, you're married?
Yeah. That's
Nice.
why I keep it on my pinky.
Yeah.
It's not like my other fingers are
It's
too
your
fat.
first wife.
But, okay.
Also, I mean, if you're married, it's supposed to be on your right hand.
I know, but that's his first
supposed to be
wife.
Left and left, right.
He's planning for 10.
Okay. Anyway, your dream.
It starts off. We're in like a city, big building, bank.
Okay.
And I'm with... Listen, you won't believe me.
I'm about to believe you. I believe anything.
It was Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh, God.
I don't want to believe this anymore.
It was Heath Ledger's Joker and some random blonde chick. And our goal was to rob the bank. And it basically starts with me rappelling in, and we rob it, and as soon as we're coming out, the guards appear.
I just want to say, I find it really funny that you're like, okay, we're going to rob a bank. Your plan starts with, I rappel in, and then just, we rob the bank.
Listen!
Tyler, I'm going to be honest. When you said I rappel in, I thought about you hooking the hook to the side of the building, and then you hop over the side, and then the whole side of the building just falls apart.
You see, I thought of it like
Just a straight up wrecking ball.
I thought of it like a skylight where you hook it on a
No, it was
railing.
the side of the building.
I imagine like you hook it on the skylight, you just leap through and you like rappel down, and then the second you're in with your gun, they just kick in the front door and it's a normal robbery, but you just rappelled in for no reason.
Listen, it gets better.
Okay.
Oh boy, this is a good
As
story.
we're leaving with the bags of money,
Mhm.
the guards were divided into three groups. Obviously, one, like a group for each of us. Heath Ledger's Joker's group, which is Batman. Mine was three guards with dual discs on their fucking wrist.
Oh fuck!
With like cards already summoned to the field.
Who's the blonde chicks?
Huh?
Who's the blonde chicks?
I never looked over there.
Stop rubbing your feet on the table!
I'm not doing it. My feet's here.
Good.
It's right here.
But anyways,
You're fucking lying.
I was mocking him, not telling the truth.
I saw, like, it was like the three of them were standing side by side, and there was like a blue eyes white dragon in the air.
Oh shit, they went all the way.
You know what I did?
What did you do?
I ran. we all ran And next thing you know it, we're landing down in like a crop duster plane in like some random fucking field out in the fucking middle of the country. And as we're walking off with the bags of money, because we managed...
fucking ran and then they still cut you in.
And we managed to escape with the money. Guess where we end up?
Where did you end up?
We end up in front of this giant-ass mansion.
The Spencer Mansion.
It was really scary. Because...
Was it an evil residence?
Pretty much.
So it was the Spencer Mansion!
But, like, this is where, like, I remember I told you there's 2 parts.
Yes.
I'll continue with the first one, then I'll say with the part 2. But
That is chronology.
the first one, we entered it with no problems. We're like, oh, we escaped, we got all this money, let's just chill out, relax, spend a few nights in our new home.
You're just commandeered this
Squatting in the fucking mansion.
Man, this is a really good heist you got going.
But listen,
Just keep the ball rolling, man.
the first
Rob a
day
bank.
was fine. It was the second day's night things started all whack. Turns out the place was haunted.
What the
And throughout the night, we were just getting attacked by random fucking things, like ghosts coming out of the wall going, or like just random fucking demonic creatures trying to fucking kill us. And like most typical horror movies, we ended up going to the basement.
Oh, of course.
And we found the problem. And guess what I fucking see in the basement?
What did you see in the basement?
Do you remember like the Evil Dead fucking thing that came out of the ground?
The demon?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Imagine that, but with longer hair, way more bushier, like it's been living in the sticks, basically.
Okay.
And it just starts charging at us. And me and the blonde lady go to escape, so we go running up the stairs.
What about Heath Ledger's Joker?
I don't know where he went. I think he might have died.
He went off to joke somewhere else.
But as we're running up the stairs, the fucking walls are like condensing on us.
Oh no. You're becoming a Jill sandwich.
But it was literally just fucking, it was like wavy. It was as if we were in a living person.
Oh, that's gross.
And as we finally fucking
You
got
were in
out,
the fucking colon of the mansion, dude.
as we finally got out, and we were on like the front lawn, we look back at it, and all we see is like all the ghosts and shit and demons like banging on the windows. And that's when I woke up.
That's fucked up. That's spooky.
Time for part 2.
Oh no.
Shit, it continues?
I thought the Mansion Saga was part 2.
Nope. It gets worse.
We're escaping to Raccoon City now.
I wake up from that. I'm like, man, it's only like fucking 5 in the morning. I'm going back to fucking sleep.
Hell yeah.
When I go back to sleep, the beginning of part 2 is us 3, not us 3, but like Heath Ledger, Joker, and Blonde Girl.
So he's
and me.
back.
Yeah, walking up to the building, and I recognized the building in my dream. So I was basically lucid dreaming, and I had control over everything.
Oh fuck, he's got power.
Guess what I fucking did?
You ran away.
No, the fucking ghosts and shit were still banging on the windows as if we're just continuing from the first bit. I'm like, ha 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 ha.
You laugh at the
And I'm like shouting at them, like trying to be like fucking intimidating and shit. It's like, ha ha, I beat you. And then there's the next part. This part is scarier.
Was part 2 just you laughing at them?
Pretty much. But here's where it ends. Not ends, but the next part is we're suddenly in an apartment building, and there's just a bunch of people gathered around. Everyone's like having fun and shit.
So you went from bank robbery, mansion squatting, party.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a family gathering type deal. And all I hear from like over there was, how funny would it be if an old lady got her head punched off by a big muscly man? And I turn around the corner. Do you know what I fucking see?
Do you see that?
I see a big muscly man going, ah! Knocks the poor lady's head off, and blood just goes everywhere. And I'm like, oh shit! And everyone just starts running out, trying to find a way out as the fucking big man is charging towards me. I'm like, fuck this. And I fucking...
Turns out, it wasn't very funny.
I was like scared shitless. So I saw my way out. It was a window.
Oh no.
I fucking jumped out of it and grabbed the ledge of the balcony and basically like just climbed down. But here's the catch. When I finally saw the landscape of the fucking dream, we're on, you know, like the supports for a bridge, like the fucking random things in the water. We're at the top of one of those. It's just like a fucking in the sky type deal. So I'm like fucking dying light, fucking climbing down scaffolding.
That must be a very high rent apartment building.
It was scary, man. But listen, there's still more.
Oh no.
It continues.
This is an epic saga.
It ends with me in like a favela type, actually not even favela type, just a, like, say, farmer's market.
Okay.
So like
where
that
was
kind
the
of...
Joker?
Oh, they were long gone.
Okay.
Lost him at the party.
I'm by myself at this point. But I'm in like the farmer's market. I'm just like, man, fuck, what the fuck just happened? I'm fucking scared out of my fucking mind. I'm just walking around. I stumble into like a random
chimp event.
Don't.
Random you know, like random stall basically.
Okay, yeah.
And it turns out to be a butcher. But guess what kind of fucking butcher?
A human butcher?
Exactly. I just see body parts just hung up on the fucking wall. I was like, fuck. And that's when I woke up. But yeah, that was my fucking dream.
Speaking of scary, Kyle, you're afraid of my basement.
Oh. Honestly, I might as well explain this now, because it's a very dreamlike qualities. Because Tyler just told us his epic dream saga.
It was really scary, man. I woke up in the morning.
That sounds very scary. I would be very scared of that.
I was in a sweat. I was...
You don't sleep after that.
Actually, to be fair, I had another dream afterwards, but...
Nice.
It's not part of it.
I was explaining to Eric how I felt about his basement. Because if you didn't know, we're in a basement right now. And there's this one room that me and Tyler don't really go into because it's kind of like just a room with, like, you know, fridges and like cups and like a sink and all that, you know, washing machines. We don't bother going in there, and Eric will go in there to, you know, fetch things from the fridge or fetch a cup or whatever. And the thing is, when we
That bitch is like half and half, man.
he's got a spicy drink. We're drinking, by the way, whiskey.
Would you like some more mix in that one, brother?
It's like literally as if you poured in the whiskey and just took what was left of my can and just put it in there.
Well, Tyler,
That's exactly what you did.
I have a shocking revelation for you.
There wasn't even that much Coke, so this is like a fucking 60-40.
So, this extra room, like, the fun fact about Eric, when he is high and we are all high, we don't want to do a lot of things ourselves. So, when I say, hey Eric, you got any water? He points me to the room and says, go ahead, get some. So I wander to the room. I struggle to find the light switch, and then I get lost in the dim light of the room. And the room tends to spin. I lose my place, because I've only ever seen it from, like, one angle. There's a little closet area or like a little pantry area that I have never seen before. So I see, like, this yawning hallway in the distance. There's a countertop I didn't know was there. And this is the first time I'm ever seeing this as well under the influence of probably too much drugs.
Isn't that the night you puked?
One of them, yes. Because I was feeling super dehydrated to the point of pain, so I needed some water.
Yeah.
But then I was drinking the water. I'm like, is this water gasoline?
You were having a lighthouse moment?
No, because Eric's like, oh, the water here isn't even clear, you know? And I'm like, I've drank Thamesford water. I'm not sure if you've ever been to Thamesford, Ontario. Their water, it's pretty
cool.
I'm pretty sure it's explosive. It smells like sulfur. It tastes like it too.
That's what the sink upstairs tastes like.
Yeah,
not downstairs for some
scary.
reason. Like,
it's terrifying.
The sink upstairs, like, the water's clear, but it smells like rotten eggs. But downstairs, it's not clear. It comes out kind of gray, but it tastes fine.
Okay, yeah.
You might have like a rusted pipe or something.
That's the water we drink down here.
It's fine.
And I needed to get me some, and I walk in. I can't find the light. I turn on the wrong light. I'm start looking around. The first time I ever did this, Eric had to stand up, go into the room, and turn on the light just so I could figure out my orientation in the fucking room.
You know,
and then today I had to go in there for some reason, and you were standing at the lip of the doorway, and you were staring at me.
Because I was watching you do whatever, and I had this moment. I'm like, this is the most sober I've ever been. Well, and that's not saying much, but this is the most sober I've ever been when, like, entering this room. I need to see what this room looks like. So I look inside, and Eric just goes behind the staircase. I'm like, holy fuck.
He was probably scared you're gonna get lost.
And I'm like, I'm looking in, he's in the flick. It's like a saw basement in there. But the other times I was in there, you know, he said, I'm like, all right. I'm standing, I turn the light on, because I learned from my first time. So the second time I'm in there, I turn the light on, and I'm looking around, I'm like, all right, I gotta get some water. I'm like, I see a sink. Where's the cups? And I asked, where's the cups? And you're like, they're at the bar. And I look around, I'm like, where the fuck is that? Turns out, it's just like, it's a little, like, bar thing.
It's literally right at the entrance.
It's at the doorway, yeah. And I look, and I see bottles everywhere. I see all sorts of stuff. And right on top of it is a collection of mugs and cups and stuff, just all sitting there. I didn't notice them for the longest time. It felt like a full, 5 minutes, but I noticed them, and I'm like, I found them. I pick one up, and I start looking at them like, is this dirty? Am I gonna get a disease?
That room really is just nightmare-inducing for people that haven't lived there their entire lives, though.
It honestly is.
It was really funny, because I sit on the edge and I can look in.
He can see. I would look over, I'd see the light of the other room, and I'd just see Tyler sitting there. The only bastion of, normalcy in my life right now.
I just see Kyle.
Tyler,
what?
How scared would you be if, you looked at Kyle and he looked really concerned, and then, you look back at the TV, and then you look back in the room to see if Kyle's still there, and he's just gone.
I would have bolted into that fucking room. Yeah. But it was really funny watching you walk around.
Because I would stand in the middle, and I'd turn around. And the thing is, turning around is a big mistake, because I couldn't tell where the entrance was anymore, so I'd turn around and I'd lose where I am.
You know how the staircase is open at the bottom, but not the rest of the way?
Yeah.
This is going to scare you guys. I've crawled under there before.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's fucked up.
It's a really good hiding place for, hide and go seek.
Oh, yeah.
Gee. I wonder why.
But yeah, I just remember, and I'm sitting there whatever I'm doing, I gotta do it quick, because I'm gonna feel, I'm gonna feel really bad if Eric comes in here and has to
guide you.
I would feel really bad if Eric has to come in and pour me a glass of water.
You would
because
not
I can't
be the first
figure it
person. I've had to do that for a couple people.
I didn't want to be that guy, so of course I'm going around. I'm like, all right, I gotta find, and I see this counter in the distance. I'm like, when the fuck did that get there?
It's happened so many times that the first couple times it was how are people scared of this room? And then I'm like, oh, I've lived here for 22 years.
It's not that I'm scared of the room. I just, for some reason, when I'm not in my right mind, I completely lose track of all spatial awareness.
I've had to do it for sober people.
It's really funny because the only time I was actually ever in there was to get pizza.
Yeah. grab pizza on like his birthday or something.
It literally just is a nothing room unless you need something to drink.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's like
Like, it
nothing in
literally
there.
only exists for the fridge for people that don't live here.
Yeah.
And
Even-
then, like, you need to fucking fix that light, because now you're getting some real, like, horror movie
Yeah,
vibes in
it
there.
is. It has, like, horror movie
It
lighting.
has deteriorated.
But I remember I finally get the cup. I stare at the cup trying to decide, like, is this clean? But then I was like, all right, I gotta go to the sink now. I go over to the sink, and I turn on the thing, and this is funny because when
I
I
have
was...
done some nightmare stuff in that room. I've drowned rats in that sinks before.
Yeah, that doesn't make me feel any better. When I was a kid, I used to have a recurring, like, dream nightmare where I'd walk into the shower and I'd, like, turn the knob to, like, activate the shower, turn on the water, and I couldn't turn it off again. And so in this moment, I turn on the sink, I'm like, fuck, am I going to be able to turn this off? And I start filling my cup, and it's, like, slowly filling up, and I'm, like, counting the seconds until it fills. I'm like, oh, no. And I sit there like, is the water gray? And eventually I turn it off. I'm like, I must drink the water. So I go drinking the water. I walk back in, sit down, and I'm like, I have escaped the room.
But that's like...
I don't know why. It's just so anxiety-inducing for people that don't live here.
Because it's just
baffling.
a saw room, bro.
The thing that's weird, for one, it's unfinished. It's like cement and all that. It's poor lighting, but it's also a case of where the entrance is fairly like it's a thin squeeze because you've got the bar on one side and the door on the other, so it's you kind of got to squeeze in there. But once you're in there, it's this open space. It's just open dark space. And it's like the entrance feels like a place you're not supposed to go through.
Yeah, it's like that room's like off limits. You're not
It
supposed
feels
to go
like
in there.
you're not
It's a boss
supposed to
room.
go there. you walk through the fog wall and like the fucking boss room appears, and then Eric walks into the room and it says like fucking Eric, forgotten sentinel, and he walks in and screams at you.
But yeah, the worst thing you can do while high is try to count the time.
The worst thing I can do while high is try to enter a new room.
Like, it can get really scary because your perception of time just does not fucking exist.
Yeah, it doesn't work. But
I'm just a wizard, man.
that room is not bueno
Not for another 8 years.
What? Oh yeah,
until
you're
you're
so right.
30.
Yeah, true.
Our
I had a
birthdays
nightmare.
are coming up, bro.
Shut the fuck up.
We're gonna be 23, dude.
I know. I'm a fucking loser.
Was
You
your
fucking
birthday the
old
4th
bitch.
or was okay?
AJ's is like what?
AJ's like the 1st or something,
I thought I was older.
or maybe I don't. This is why I fucking ask so
Who's
much.
the 16th?
Me.
Uh-huh.
This is why I ask so much because I've mentioned this before. I always get yours and AJ's birthday mixed up because I remember one of you was older than the other because one of you had a birthday right at the beginning of the month.
I think.
But if you're the 4th, then you might be the older one. Yeah.
I hope so.
I need to add another layer of horror to this basement.
It's already been added. You see the fucking light in there?
No, I don't care about the light.
That is the other layer.
What other layer of horror would you add? Are you going to rip off the walling on here and
No, I'm
just
just
expose
gonna
it?
have-
I'm gonna talk about my nightmare and then talk about the reality of the nightmare.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, are you? I know what one you're talking about.
Oh god.
The rat war.
Oh.
Man has been in a battle.
So, like, for the past year and a half, I'd say, I've heard, like, mice and other rodents running around in the walls and shit. And, like, I was like, okay, enough's enough. I'm hearing them run across my keyboard at night, and then I'm seeing them to the point that I've thrown pairs of scissors at them as they're running across the ground. And I've missed them, but no longer. I had a nightmare where, I was laying in... It was one of those, like, really realistic ones that, like, immediately you can't tell if it's real or not. So, I was, like, laying in bed, and I was facing... Like, my back was to the wall, and I was on the edge of my bed, and I heard, like... Somehow I knew that it was, like, a bunch of rats burrowing out of my bed, like, the center of it.
Like it's a fucking Nightmare on
Yeah.
Elm Street bit.
And I have, like, a knife on my bed table just because, you know, convenience.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm slowly reaching over towards it to not alert the rats that I have the knife and that I am awake. I want them to think that I'm still asleep. and like as soon as I flick it open, turn it to the side, and like I whip over to try and stab whatever it is behind me, a bunch of a rat king forms a fist and grabs the knife as I try and stab it, and it just says like thousands of red eyes glaring at me says you are going to lose the war. And then I wake up and say, that's it, and I go to Home Hardware and I buy a bunch of sticky rat traps, and I just place them all over the room. I cover them in peanut butter. I get like the
Initially, he chose
too.
cheese, and I told him peanut butter is a better option.
It is true. And like I have this big one steel trap, and I did use a bunch of cheese and like fucking cranberries, and I put it in that. That steel trap sucks because the mice got in, they ate all the cheese, and then they left. Sticky traps are the way to go. If you want to get rid of the mice in your house, don't buy anything that says humane on it.
Gee, I wonder why.
Because those sticky traps, they're good. That snap trap, yep.
The things that kill him, yup.
It's so good that he got himself in one.
Yerp.
He kept... I'd be talking to this man in a voice call, and he'd be like, I just snapped my finger. I'm fingering a mousetrap.
That would be an Eric thing to say.
It is a very Eric thing to say, because he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Twice.
But in the end, 10 dead mice, one night. Well, actually, 2 nights. Poison Trap got 3, Sticky Trap got a few more, and then Snap Trap got 1. And I gotta say, these nights have been a lot more quiet.
The war rages on.
Nope. It's dead.
The war has ended.
It's done now.
The Rat King can't hurt Eric no more.
A beautiful symphony.
What are we at?
Well, it's only been 52 minutes. 52 minutes? That's fucked up.
The fuck?
Whatever.
That seems like too short.
Who has more topics?
We never
I just
topics.
had the dream.
The dream.
I mean, the funny thing is, we never actually talked about the movie we watched.
What is there really to talk about?
The Reluctant Werewolf. Shaggy had a girlfriend.
We wanted to fuck the Hex Girls.
Yeah.
That's about it. Actually, Kyle got jealous because another man and the Hex Girl one.
You just said that.
Did
I am perfectly fine with Velma not fucking the villain.
Are you seeming kind of really defensive right now, Kyle?
Are you really okay with it when they knocked each other's glasses off and she touched his hand?
I am perfectly fine with it because at the end he said, I'm a warlock, and he got stuck in a book. And he got fucked by his own stupid ancestor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably fucking.
Yeah, stuck in the fiery book.
Yeah, they did draw some pretty defined titties on her, I must say.
Yep.
You know, they fucking drawed some nice fucking titties on Scooby-Doo in that one scene.
Yeah, man.
On the bench.
Oh, oh, you mean that one?
Yeah.
And it's funny. It was a fine movie, but do you actually remember or care about the Witch's Ghost beyond the Hex Girls?
No.
I liked the animation for it.
The animation, you see, and the thing is, I will say,
I'd say the Scooby-Doo saga has always had some very nice scenery and backgrounds and everything.
Yeah.
I'd say, like...
Even the old one had very nice painted background.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But, like, the one thing I just kept on noticing is just every single time the lady turned a pumpkin into, like, a monster pumpkin, it got smashed no matter what.
Yeah.
Especially that one scene where there's 4 pumpkins next to each other, but it's like, no, I want the left and the right one to come to life.
Yeah, only 2 of them. Not the full 4. That's too much.
That's too much.
Tyler, I'm going to ask you this. Who gives a fuck about the pumpkins?
I care about the pumpkins.
Why do you care about the pumpkins?
Because it was like a nice little detail about them.
They were nice.
Funny little detail about the rape pumpkins.
Yeah.
Especially since it was really weird, because like whenever they smash, you always see them in little itty bitty pieces.
Yeah.
Well, then there's some thin ass pumpkins.
Yeah, they were pretty fragile. Fragile,
Like,
you know.
they fucking slip on some butter and boom, they're dead.
And
I feel like there's some injustice with Daphne. She was not very prominent in that movie.
Neither was Fred.
Yeah.
yeah, they
Honestly,
were kind of there.
nowadays, when it comes to the whole Scooby-Doo franchise, Fred and Daphne,
Well,
they're like side characters.
it's
at this
funny
point.
because
In the most recent movie, they were like fairly prominent.
in recent in more recent series, if you there are actually a lot of bits where Fred and Daphne actually have like more moments and shit where they have more stuff going on.
Yeah.
I forget which series it was. There was one thing where there was a joke where someone like Fred had to like sword fight some kind of like monster or ghost or something, and he was losing. But then like it insulted his ascot on his neck, and he just starts fighting back like, "You don't insult my ascot!" And it's like an actual like a bit about Fred, giving him a little more character. And I'm like, oh my god, Fred is a person.
That was
The thing is, too, like, for the longest time, everyone was like, oh, Daphne's just like a bimbo, and it's like, I don't know, though. She's actually, like, fairly smart, like, especially in the, like, most recent ones where, like, she's actually shown as, like, she's, like, a people person. She's good with people as well as she's a martial artist.
I actually think I know a bit of that, because I think it was the Cyber Chase, actually. There's a bit where they go into the fun house. And they look in the magic mirrors, and I remember there's this one bit where it distorts them, and Daphne looks in a mirror that makes her fat, and she just goes like in the most vain way possible. She's like, "Oh, I'm so fat," and like that common like, oh, like person cares too much about her appearance way. I feel like that because that movie was so famous, that probably like cemented part of that in the public perception of it.
Yeah.
Because it's also funny, because I mentioned this during the Reluctant Werewolf one, but one other thing a lot of people talk about with Zombie Island was how they were actual zombies, like it was actual real witchcraft that made the zombies. So many movies, even the Reluctant Werewolf and like the fucking Witch's Ghost, real ass magic, real ass monsters.
Yeah.
Like that stuff's been going on for a long time. And I suppose there are just key things that a lot of people focus on. And hell, I remember apparently because my young cousin apparently likes Scooby-Doo. Apparently in the Kiss one, in the movie where they meet Kiss, apparently Kiss has superpowers as well.
yeah.
And it's like, man. And at the time, I remember thinking at the time, like, man, Scooby-Doo sure has gone wild. It's always been wild. It's always been like that.
They even did a whole movie with WWE.
Yeah, that was him with the search results as well, because they met John Cena.
Yeah, and they actually had magic and stuff involved with that. It's like some legendary luchador mask. Fucking caused the person who ever wore it to fucking Hulk out.
Like, Scooby-Doo's always been pretty fucking crazy. You just never think about it. They also met Batman once.
Yeah.
We'll all have a little snack.
They've met probably just about anyone you can really think of.
Oh, well,
They met Chris Chan.
you weren't... They did.
No, they fucking didn't.
No, they totally did. That was Chris Chan. Like,
Hey.
But me and Eric were talking about this because Scooby-Doo's still going. They're still making more new Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Do you know how long Scooby-Doo's been going on?
Since like the 70s?
69.
69?
For context, that's when my dad was born.
That is 20 years longer than The Simpsons has ran.
That's fucked up.
And it's still going. Children nowadays still like Scooby-Doo. And I was talking to Eric
The thing
about
is,
this.
though, there's so many different renditions. The
Yeah, 'cause
Simpsons has
they
been
keep
one
rebooting
season.
it.
The Simpsons has been one series.
Yeah, it's been one series. And the thing is, right, I posited this idea to Eric, like, we could die of old age, and there's still new Scooby-Doo coming out.
There's
Yeah,
still
just...
What's New Scooby-Doo,
Yeah.
which was also a Scooby-Doo series.
Yes, it was. That was one of the older ones, wasn't it?
No, I think it's the newer
Ironically,
one.
yeah.
What's the one that came out recently?
I don't fucking know.
I think it's And Guess Who.
Guess Who,
Scooby-Doo and Guess Who.
I remember Scooby-Doo babies. or like the one where it was like
Where they were all
universe.
fucking tiny, small.
Yeah, Tiny
creatures.
Do or whatever the fuck
That
it
was like during like the early 2000s when the Looney Tunes also had their
where
one.
they had Tiny Toons.
Yeah,
Looney
and all that,
Babies
where it
or
was a
whatever
big
it
thing
was
to do
called.
that.
That's how I
Where it
learned
had
about
what?
the.
Did I call it Looney Babies?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was Tiny Toons.
Looney
That's
Babies.
when I learned about how your eyelashes can like accumulate gunk, and like
Go.
you're meant to like clean them off here and there.
That's so crazy, dude.
This is crazy. But like, yeah.
How did you learn gunk? From Scooby Doo?
No, it was from the Tiny Toons.
Okay.
They had a whole episode dedicated because one of them really had really bad gunk, and it was like they had it like piled up on their fucking eyelashes, like as if it was like a
That's
a
horrifying.
sandcastle.
Hey, Doc, make sure you peel your foreskin back.
I don't like the way you laughed right there. Because it sounded like at first you were going for that sarcastic laugh. You're going, ha ha ha. Then you went, ha 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 afterwards.
I don't know what I find ironically funny and actually funny anymore.
Everything's funny.
But yeah, Scooby-Doo is a powerful series.
The show you're talking about was like one of the more recent ones that started in like
Which one?
when Fred got pissed off, the guy was like insulting
Yeah.
his ascot.
Yeah, okay.
It was a more recent one that started like early 2010. It was like Scooby-Doo and Mystery Inc.
Mystery Incorporated. Because
Yeah.
that was one of the ones that has the Hex Girls in it. That's the one where she looks like Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
It also had the radio lady, the jive lady,
Yeah.
the groovy lady.
It also had hot dog water in it.
What?
It was like, yeah. It was Velma's other female counterpart. Her name was Hot Dog Water. She was also a nerd.
You mean like that person who's like her relative or whatever, who has like the twin tails?
Yeah.
Or pigtails?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I know her.
All I
Hot
know
dog
is
water.
a lot
Kyle,
of
did
porn
you
came
get
out of
angry
the show.
when she made out with Shaggy?
No.
When
Are you fucking Kyle?
wait, when who made out with Shaggy?
In that
Velma.
show, they actually like.
Oh, you mean cause was that the series where they dated?
Yeah.
They fuck in the fucking shrubbery.
No, they didn't.
No, I didn't particularly care
That was
about
something
that.
else, Eric.
It's funny because I don't actually know a lot about the more recent ones. It's just sometimes I see like clips and funny moments from
In
them.
that one, they did explore like what if Shaggy was with
They
Velma.
Yeah, I
explored
do know that there was one.
They
where
explored
they
each
did
other's mouths with
Because
their
in that
tongues.
very episode you're talking about, like Fred fucking complaining about his ascot, like, oh, how dare you disrespect it. 'Cause
Yeah.
that was like the defining episode of Fred and
Daphne.
Daphne's relationship.
Huh?
Because Daphne was like, you care more about that goddamn fucking scarf than you do about me.
It's an ascot.
I'm pretty sure you said that.
Probably.
You guys remember the Ghoster Coaster at Canada's Wonderland?
No.
No.
Damn.
I went there at I was like 7 years old and don't remember.
It was a big wooden roller coaster. People were afraid that it was going to fall apart.
That was Canada's Wonderland? I thought you talking about... There was one like that at the Western Fair.
I don't give a fuck about the Western Fair.
There was like a wooden one, and as you're fucking riding, you could fucking feel it creak.
Ooh,
It was scary.
very scary.
I'm not afraid of roller coasters.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Man, I bent the bars on the fireball. Because, like, you know how they fasten it over you?
Yeah.
And as the way we're fucking, like, upside down, I literally... My hand... There's, like, an indent in the fucking bars from where my palms were. I
Man,
fucking hate roller coasters.
I hate the way my brain works.
Why?
I'm not afraid of stuff like that. Like, roller coasters don't bother me. Normal stuff bothers me. I'm not afraid of spiders. I'm not afraid of anything like that. Social occasions, terrifying.
That's just
Needing
called
to
social
get from
anxiety.
needing to get from point A to point B, horrendous.
That's just
like,
anxiety.
A party that I went to recently, I got really drunk at, and everyone was like playing beer pong, and then a spider rappelled down from the ceiling, and then everybody there started screaming. I ran over it, and I grabbed it, and then I threw it outside, and people were like, "Whoa!" And I was like, "You don't do that?"
It was breaking the etiquette.
Fucking Eric talked to me later that night, and he was so fucking dead. he was habitually going in and out of Irish accent.
Was that like the fucking one night you just fucking start sending them random snaps?
Probably.
Yeah,
was
it
it the one
was.
with the skunk?
I think so.
I saved the skunk video.
Fucking, I thought you said you had a family gathering.
Work gathering.
Yeah, it was like a potluck or something.
Yeah. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Because I remember you said like you had like a family gathering or something like that. And you just started sending these fucking weird ass fucking
Because he
memes,
got
like,
absolutely trashed.
Because it was like, man, these fucking people are weird or something.
And we talk and he just says, Kyle, I did it again.
Did what?
He laughed without anyone noticing.
He just fucking sent me a meme on Instagram about that.
He sent me that too. He's like, I disappeared. No one noticed.
I feel bad, but it's just a habit at this point.
It's oh! It's just one of your fucking character traits at this point.
I'm just a little quirky.
Yeah, a little quirky though.
I'm gonna kill my dog.
Oh, not if I get to it first.
It's like a Mexican standoff, but we all point at the guns at the dog. You shoot that dog, I'll shoot it first. Put your gun away from my dog, I'm going to shoot it.
We all just unload our guns at the same time.
Yeah. The dog dies.
Good. That's the goal.
It's almost Christmas.
Christmas.
Oh no, I dated it.
Not when you hear this, viewer.
Viewer? You fucking idiot. You fucking buffoon.
You
think it's almost Christmas?
Listen to this next year.
Hey, viewer. It's almost Christmas. Don't believe me? Put your thumb in your ass.
Damn.
Oh, no.
Your birthday is on a Sunday. Mine is on a Tuesday.
Because I got Jesus with me.
So I thought, like, what are the fucking odds that we have a podcast on your birthday?
Unlikely.
Well, apparently we did last year.
Your guys' Christmas
Last year
gifts
was
are
your
in.
birthday on a Sunday or Saturday.
Both your guys' Christmas gifts. I got them.
Oh.
They're here.
Yeah.
You're not getting them.
I know.
Good.
I got some gifts have come in. My the stuff for Tyler came in. Some stuff for you came in.
Some?
Yeah. Ship.
Do you actually even have anything in there?
Yeah, I got a thing in there.
Oh.
What are you getting me?
You a
Nothing.
fucking dick in a box, you bitch.
I'm gonna walk up to your house with a box around my hips.
Just taped to your fucking
If you walk up to my house with a box around your hips, I'm gonna shoot you on my front lawn.
Oh.
You'll have to wait to fucking Christmas to see what you get.
If you come within a 3-mile radius of my house, Tyler, I'm shooting you.
I've got bad news.
We're within 3 miles of you.
We're directly under your house.
Izzy, get the gun. We're shooting him this time.
This time.
Yeah, he's threatened to shoot me a lot of times before this.
To be fair, you have threatened to kill us too.
Yeah, what movie were we watching and it was like, I'm gonna kill you guys?
Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Evil Dead.
So I was making a joke because, like, I was gonna say, I'm randomly possessed now. It's time to kill you guys.
But you forgot that part, so you
I just looked over.
You just look at us and say, "I'm going to kill both of you before I leave tonight."
Yeah. It's funny.
Nice.
That reminds me,
Oh?
I met a friend in Walmart recently.
Oh, God. Which one?
I don't know this guy. So, I was in Walmart. I'm grabbing some groceries with my dear mother. I'm pushing the cart around. She stops by some pickles. Go pick out a pickle jar. And there's a guy staring at some beans. And he turns around, he looks me in the eye with his fucking red as fuck eyes. And he looks at me and goes, "Hey, do I know you?" And I say, "No." And he looks at me, his face drops, and he goes, "The world's going to end, you know." And I say, yeah, that's gonna be pretty rough, huh?
What the fuck?
He's like, yeah, dude, and he starts singing REM, and I duetted with him.
R.E.M.
Is the end of the world as we know
Oh.
it. You know, I duetted that with him for a minute there, and he looks at my mom's like, oh, you like pickles, huh? And she doesn't know what to do, and I'm like, this guy is absolutely high as fuck.
Yeah.
And he starts talking to me. He starts saying, like, you seen I'm looking for my girlfriend or someone. I don't know if it was even his girlfriend. I don't even know if it was a real person. But he says he's looking for her. He's like, you know, she's like this tall, like a little shorter than me. She got blonde hair. I'm like, I ain't seen anyone with blonde hair. Like, dirty blonde hair. Like, well, I haven't seen any blondes. And he looks at me. He slowly points at me and says, no, you have brown hair. And
Man was trying to fucking hit on you.
I'm like, yeah, I do indeed have brown hair. And he's like, light brown. I'm like, actually, it's dark brown, but whatever, dude, you got this. And I started saying, like, you know, I'm seeing my mom's, like, clearly uncomfortable. She has no idea how to deal with this. And I'm kind of like, all right, you know what? I think I saw a native blonde lady. She's over that way. And it took a few times, but he eventually started wandering over that way, and I saw him later, like, talking to some dude, like, hey, you like batteries? Because he's by the battery station.
Listen, you know what that just fucking reminded me of?
Probably one of us.
No. Do you remember that old, like, horror story, like, you'd read on the internet? It's about, like, the fucking dead lady.
I've read a lot of those.
Is it the one that's like, am I
Where
beautiful? And then her mouth
No.
is big and she eats the big hamburger.
It's the one where, like, it's about, like, the Japanese girl who's walking home one day.
Yeah, and the where the panel moves and she turns her head.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's exactly that. But, like, you remember when she, like, says, "Oh, I saw your kid that way," and she's like, "Oh, okay, thank you," and begins to, like, fucking wobble that way, and then all you see in the next panel is like, "It's not here." Then the next panel is just like one of those, like,
Where it
motion
zooms
gifs,
right up to you.
and she just. I just imagine that happens to you.
He was fucking whack. And the funny thing is, later on, I see him, like, following someone and talking to them, and they're clearly uncomfortable. And then he sees me again, and he just starts talking to me like we've been talking the whole time. And I'm like, cool, man. We're just going along. I'm picking up my fucking eggnog, and he just says, like, it's all gonna, this whole place is gonna be gone. And I'm like, yeah, man, it's gonna be pretty crazy. Like, that's what you get. You know, that's what they get when they do these things and they don't expect it, but that's what happens. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm kind of ignoring him at this point. And he turns around, he goes, after saying something like, that was kind of a racist joke. and I'm like, what? And he's like, you know, 'cause gorillas. And I'm like, woo, this guy.
You know what he should have fucking done? Just cracked him over the head with a fucking thing of eggnog.
But why?
Carton of eggnog.
What's the point?
Yeah, no, I was just hoping he'd go away. And he did. I didn't talk to him for the rest of that night, but he tried to, like, he went up to, like, one of the guys before leaving, apparently. He's like, he tried to shake his hand. The guy's like, you know I can't shake your hand, my dude.
It's like that one guy on the airplane. It's like, I want to shake your hand.
I want to shake your hand!
The CEO of handshaking.
Yeah, it's like Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, it's not a deal until you shake man's hand.
Get that cheeseburger living.
Hey, now.
What?
I want a cheeseburger right now.
Crazy hamburger.
Crazy hamburger!
Crazy hamburger.
But yes, that is why you don't go to Walmart in the dead of night.
That's why I like hamburger pussy.
Yes.
Gotta grab it with both hands, the meat.
Also, it's
Arby's.
it's really funny to see my mom like seeing that stuff because she has no idea what it's like to talk to someone who's absolutely like over the clouds high. So she's like, did you know that guy? I'm like, of course not. You think I actually knew that dude? It's like, oh, he seemed like confident that he knew you. I'm like, yeah, because he's fucking on something.
Yeah.
He thinks he knows everyone he talks to.
I feel like we've developed a skill out of self-destruction. We know how to talk to people that do the same thing.
It's not even that I knew how to talk to him. I just vaguely humor. Rather than most people who would just kind of like nod and say
Shoo him
okay
away.
and like look away and try to walk faster, I'm specifically either trying to lead him away or going along with the conversation. So he says like the world's gonna end. I'm like, yeah, it'll be pretty rough.
You know what I hate?
What?
Apparently, I have like an approachable face. Like people love to approach me. I don't like it.
I don't like people approaching me.
Cause like all
You know
this.
what? I have the opposite.
I mean, you seem like a friendly face.
It's annoying. Cause like I've actually almost been in like 2 fights because of it.
That's not approachable. That's punchable.
But like it just goes into because I have people approach me all the time. Like say I'll be sitting at the bus stop, and some random guy or girl will be like, "Hey man, what's up? How you doing?" But like
Only weirdos do that to me.
I went to the flea market, and I was just walking around with my sister, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go split off. I want to see if I can get some of them free samples. You know? What I'm
Oh
talking
yeah,
about?
scout some samples.
Exactly. And there's just this guy and his friend following me. Like I'll see him at the corner of my eye as I'm walking down this way. He's walking down that. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, maybe I'll just ignore him. Maybe I'm just going, I'm crazy or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I get my free samples. You know, I test out the different kinds of pepperettes and stuff like
Oh
that.
hell yeah.
Then I end up like trying to find my sister. I end up in like one of those like empty spots at the flea market, and he approaches me.
Oh.
He's like, "Hey man, what the fuck's your name?" I was like, "My name's Tyler Thompson."
You should have said Clutch Powers.
No.
Works every time.
McLovin.
Then his friend walked up to me. He's like, "Hey, do you go to this school?" I was like, "No, I go to this school." He's like, "Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My friend here thought you were someone else." And he was like red faced, fist clenched and everything.
I don't think that's approachable, Tyler. I think that's just...
I think they just mistook you for somebody.
Yeah.
Exactly. People do that all the time.
You see, I have kind of the opposite problem. I think people actively try not to talk to me because I think I have a resting bitch face when I'm in public.
It sucks, man.
I
Cause,
think people are scared of me.
Cause bro,
You should
man,
dress as Eminem more often.
I just sit at the bus stop and listen. I love them with all my heart, but every single time it's either like some special needs person or it's a sweet old lady. I've had like a few crackheads or like those like super old blue collar type of guys who you think are crackheads but aren't actually crackheads. And it's always those people.
You see, I have had times before where I'm sitting at a bus stop in the rain or whatever, and like, you know, there'll be an open seat at the bus stop, so I'll like sit down or whatever, and people will actively get up and walk away from me. and I'm just like, all right, fuck it, whatever. And there are other times where people will recognize me, like the one guy who would sometimes come to our drama class, and he was like he had like an actual card for like the Conservative Party or whatever.
Yes, the fucking dress up guy.
Yeah, the guy who always dressed very nice. And he's like he seems like a fairly social guy. Like
Distinguished.
He will like talk to people and stuff. And I remember one time I sit on I'm on a crowded bus heading home from fucking school for the day. And he comes on and he takes the only seat available, which is beside me. It took him I recognized him, but I didn't want to like actually start up a conversation because I'm on the bus and I'd rather just phase out of existence right now. But it took him so long. Like, I see him look at me, and I get the feeling he recognized me, but he didn't want to say anything either. It took him a while until he finally looks at me. He's like, "Hey, did you go to this school?" And I'm like, "Yes, I did."
You know what's really fun? Like, me and one of our other friends, the volcano accident man.
Yeah.
I'll see him on the
You
bus.
mentioned his name earlier when we were talking
I know,
about
but-
birthday.
But, like, now I'm not going to. Less work for future Eric.
Yeah.
Bing
I'm not
bong.
censoring his name.
But
You already
anyways.
said it before.
But anyways, yeah, him. We take the same bus to get home.
Mm.
And I'm always, like, I'll see him. I don't know if I should approach him or not. But, like, I'll usually, like, sit up because, like, he, like, much like me, loves to sit at the back of the bus.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll see him, he'll see me, he'll be like, hey, man, what's up? We'll just have, like, a normal, like, conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always weird, because, like, I don't know if I should approach him or not.
I never like having conversations on the bus, because I'm fine, like, talking to people, and obviously, I talk to friends and all that, but it's one of those cases where if you're on a whole-ass bus ride where no one really expects to be talking to someone familiar, it's one of those cases where, like, I'm going to run out of things to say real quick.
Yeah.
But with him in particular, I've mentioned it before, we would just give each other, like, knowing gestures while we're passing by. Like, any time in high school we'd see each other in the hallway, we'd just look at each other and go... And,
I remember
and
seeing that one time.
Yeah, every time. We never established that as a thing. We just did it every time we passed each other. This arm shrug gesture thing. So I feel like we would do that. But it's funny. Other times I remember I got on the bus and I saw a girl we knew in high school and in elementary that we didn't like.
God, which one?
Yeah, you can probably tell which one.
Women. Yep.
Yeah.
You're...
And I remember she starts telling me about these things. She's like, "Oh, hey, Kyle!" Like, hi. And she started.
I think I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, she started telling me about things, and she told me about how she was like in school for this one thing, but then she dropped out, and is like, oh, she was doing this work, but then the work wouldn't accommodate like some like thing of her scheduling, so she had to quit, and now she needs to do this thing, and I'm sitting there thinking like, did they not accommodate you because it was unreasonable? Is that what they're supposed to bother doing? But I didn't bother saying anything because it would just make it worse.
Yeah.
And then, like, for a couple other times, she'd fucking talk to me. I'm like, I have nothing to say.
Man, I just remember this one time. I was just sitting at the bus stop, and this, like, obviously, like, gym bro type of guy.
Oh, yeah, gym bros.
He seems like he just finished the gym, so he's having his, like, end of gym protein shake.
Okay, yeah.
And, I think he must have forgot the cap wasn't on. So he because like with protein shakes, if you don't shake it after a certain amount of time, it starts to settle and separate.
Oh yeah.
So he goes to shake it, and it just goes everywhere. It happened for like a solid 5 seconds before he actually looked over. He's like, "Oh shit!
Oh shit!"
It wasn't until like half his shit was gone he realized. He like looked over at me because like some of it was near my foot. He's like, "Oh, did I splash you?" I was like, "No, you're fine, you're fine." I wanted to say something, but I was too busy laughing.
Another funny thing about social stuff is that it's funny to see my mom like hear about social stuff or whatever, or see me in a social situation, because she is so antisocial and so like reserved and doesn't say anything to anyone that if you approach her in the street, she doesn't know what to say, and when she says it, she mumbles it, so you have no idea what she's even saying. Meanwhile, like, someone will come up to me and ask, like, a simple question, like, we'll be passing by, like, walking downtown or going to, like, comic shops or something, and a guy will pass by looking at his phone, he'll look at me and say, "Oh, excuse me, do you know where this place is?" And I'll either say, like, "Oh, it's down that way," or, "Oh, I don't know, sorry." And I'll be like, "Oh, okay, man, thanks, anyway." And then she looks at me like, "Man, you're really good in social situations." And I look at her like, "What? What do you mean?"
It's not that. I think you're just really charismatic.
I don't think charismatic's the word.
I think I'm just so unapproachable that people don't even bother trying.
Well, you see, you're the book, man.
And, like, even when I am out on the town trying to get stuff, I'm too busy jaywalking and avoiding other people.
Oh, I see this group
that they don't
approaching
even
me.
get the chance.
I need to go to the other side.
You see, I would do that at times, but I am too autistic to actually do that because I'm too busy thinking about how weird it would be if I did that.
Exactly, same.
Like, I'm the kind of person, I'm walking by, like, someone's coming towards me on the sidewalk while I'm walking, towards them, and I sit there, I have a minute-long debate with myself, like, alright, a person's coming. Don't stare at them, and I look at them, because, I'm looking at whatever's in front of me, and I'm like, don't look at them, because you're staring at them, it's gonna be weird, so I look away, I'm like, you can't look away, you're trying to avoid them, so I look back.
You see, masks are like honestly the best thing that ever happened to me.
They are.
Because
It helps with
it's
that a little
it's
bit.
so easy for me to mimic other people speaking or like make funny faces when I hear them say something, or like when I'm like doing minorly illegal things in public, like, oh, the road's clear and there's like a group of people coming this way, I'll just run across the street smiling the whole time.
Man,
One thing I've noticed is when I'm in stores and stuff, now that I'm wearing masks and no one can see my mouth, for some fucking reason, when I'm just like idly doing stuff like putting things in bags, my mouth will just go in weird positions. Like I'll sit there and I'm like,
because no one can see.
Because no one's seeing my mouth, so I'm doing these weird mouth movements, and I realize at the end, I'm like, I'd probably look like a fucking retard if anyone actually looked at me right now, but they can't tell, so I'm fine. And then we're gonna, like, get out of, like, pandemic, we never will, but we'll get out of pandemic times, and then I'm gonna
keep wearing my mask after, because I don't know if I can go back to regular life of
Exactly.
people are, like, talking to me, and I'm,
just...
like, rolling my eyes in the back of my head and being like,
You know what you say? You know what you say when people question why you have a mask? Just say you're a K-pop fan.
Yeah.
You're so right.
Because like they even before all this, they wore it all the time. It was like a fashion statement. Granted, where they live, there's a lot of smog, so.
Well, yeah, they're in other eastern places, it's a more common thing for people to wear masks if they are sick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's funny?
I hope they keep that trend after
Well,
this.
Maybe.
If you're sick, wear a mask.
But you know what's funny? When like the whole situation you guys were talking about, like, oh, there's a group approaching you, you're walking towards them. You know what I do?
What do you do?
I walk onto the grass and I try to avoid them completely.
That's what I do too.
But like when I tell people that, they're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why not just bulldoze right through them?" Well, because like, what are they gonna do? Fucking stop me?
That's another thing I do. When I see someone,
I view other people as objects. I move around them.
yeah,
I just don't want to like
be an
rude.
inconvenience.
Yeah.
Because the thing I most notably do is if someone's riding a bike or something down the sidewalk, and I see them coming towards me,
I go on the grass.
the second I see them ahead of me, I will purposefully move out of the way because it's like if I wait, then they'll get close and they'll like kind of have to do more like a swervy movement.
Yeah.
So I move on to like the grass and stuff well before they're near me, so they know they just go forward. And I've been walking with other people, and they're like, "What are you doing? Why are you walking on the grass?" I'm like, "Don't you see the fucking bike in front of us? Like, what? You want them to fucking swerve? You want them to go crazy?"
It's man.
It's even worse when you're at like a work environment and there's a lot of foot traffic and anything, and like
Oh, yeah.
people have the same mindset as you, where it's like, okay, this person's moving slow,
You
so
just
I'll
do a
try and move.
fucking.
I'll try and move around them, and then they try and do the same thing. I'm like, you fucking idiot! I'm faster than you, you fucking dumbass!
You're just dancing with them at that point.
Oh yeah.
Because because I do that even like back in high school. Whenever like a group is walking, I'll move to the side. Like obviously, because you know, like even in high school they have like the 2-lane system.
Oh yeah.
So I'll like walk over there, and they're like, "Why not just fucking walk right through them? What are they gonna do? Stop you?" Like.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I don't want to be rude.
But it was really awkward because like me and the guy in front of me will have the same idea. So
And so you
we
move to the same
We're just
side.
fucking like waltzing, bro.
Yeah, like swerving, like who's breaking first?
At that point it literally becomes a game. Like who the fuck's gonna break
It's
first?
a game of chicken, the polite chicken.
Because man, sometimes man, I just want to punch him across the fucking face. Because we'll be going on for like a solid minute, and I gotta get to fucking class.
I got places to be.
That's like one of those times that like, if you're dancing, if I like swerve from one side to the other, I will just go in the direction after the second time, and then I'll just assume that they'll move around me because I'm like, okay, this will just get nowhere if we just keep trying to be polite.
I would do that, but I'm too focused on trying to be polite that I'll just keep presuming like, oh, I'll be the one to move.
Like,
So
we can't just live in a constant Canadian standoff our whole lives, and I don't care if I sound like an awful person for it. I will break code just so that things can continue.
It's just like
Because I know
my
it's
nature.
better for both of us if I'm the asshole.
Because like I've even done that with a couple of my teachers. So, like I I basically took cooking every single year I could, and with me and the chefs, like, we like obviously like even in the kitchen has like 2 lane system, like right here.
Well, I've never been in the kitchen, so.
But yeah, we just shuffle. At some point, like, the fucking chef actually, like, fucking grabbed my hip, grabbed my hand, and we fucking did a little wall.
did a little spin around. Yeah, no. The thing I've resorted to is, like, after, like, doing it 2 or 3 times, I will stop moving entirely.
And just let them walk.
I'll just stop. It's like, this is my place. Go where you may.
Bro, there's
and
been...
like, with people that I am familiar with at work too, I will bulldoze through after the second waltz, and I will yell at the top of my lungs, "Move, bitch!"
If I would do that kind of stuff if I did that with anyone I knew. I don't do that with anyone I know.
It's weird, because sometimes when there's a big group in front of me and I'm, like, walking behind them, I will try to fucking, like, bulldoze through them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, try to, like, maybe, like, sneak my way through them. But I have this bad habit of whoever's in front of me, I want them out of my fucking way. You know what I do?
You grab them?
I literally grab their fucking hips and move them out of the fucking way.
Sometimes you just gotta take command, you know?
Because I'm just like, get out of the fucking way.
How did they fucking
I've done it to a few girls. I always feel bad afterwards.
You know what's the worst thing? When someone's walking in front of you, they're really fucking slow, so you walk around them. And now you're in front of them and you're walking, and they speed up to pass in front of you again, and then they slow down!
It's just like a competition at that point.
It's because it's that one thing where someone's nearby in front of you.
You should try doing it while driving. I honk at people.
It's just one of those things, because it's like you get the inclination when someone's in front of you and you just feel like getting in front of them, because then you can pass them, so you speed up to do it. But if you're naturally slower than someone, then you're gonna make it a moot fucking point. But some people do it anyway.
I have that feeling, like, say I know someone who is faster than me, like, I can, like, look behind me, I see, like, their build and everything. I know they're faster than me, I just walk out of the way.
I mean, yeah, sometimes you'll have someone come up behind you, and I just kind of, like, step to the side a bit. It's like, alright, if you're gonna pass me, pass me.
This is why I know I'm faster than everyone. I walk around everyone. I've walked in the middle of the road before to avoid 2 groups.
It's funny, because I always used to walk to school with our other friend who walked pretty fast. So I've always just walked fairly fast.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I get unreasonably angry about, like, congested small spaces and walking speeds. Because one thing I'll do if I'm, like, grocery shopping or whatever, I'll be pushing the cart around, and
You fucking just hit your mom's ankles because she's going too slow?
I have done that a couple times. But never intentionally. I don't try to do that. But there will be times where I'll see, like, multiple carts in front of us in, like, the aisle, and it's clear, like, I'm not going to be able to really get through there, or, like, it's going to be a struggle, or, like, people are going slow, so I can't really move around them. And I will look to her, and I'll say, with like, venom in my voice, I'm like, do you need anything here? And she'll be like, oh, yeah, there's something in this aisle I need. Get it! Go get it! I am not going through there! And I'll just get unreasonably angry about it for no reason.
If you think that's bad, you should be the one that doesn't pilot the fucking cart, because Costco, that's a nightmare for me, because I'll say, okay, Mom, you get the cart, whatever you need, just give me a list, I'll find you. Because if I am shackled to a cart in that fucking estate, I will go crazy and I will hit somebody.
Costco was, back when I used to go to Costco, it was easier because at least the aisles were bigger. More maneuverable.
They're so much more filled with people. Especially with COVID too, because like the checkout aisle takes up half the store because of social distancing.
Oh yeah.
So like my mom said, "Oh, I need a shirt from here." I'm like, "What size are you? What color do you want?"
Yeah, just don't take the cart through there. I'll just go get it,
What was I gonna say?
Like, I'm vitriolic about that. I'm like, look, you see what's going there. I see what's going on in there. Don't make me push a cart
I just
through
want
there.
my tabbouleh salad and I want to
Oh,
leave.
right.
Yeah.
What time are we at, by the way?
Hour 30.
Tyler, finish your piece.
Whenever I did, like, walk home with you guys the few times, that's always why I fucking walked in the front. Because you guys were too fucking fast.
Yeah, because we walked notably faster than you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm always, like, walking fast. Especially because it's always, like, I walk with a place to be.
Yeah.
So, I'm always trying to go
Especially even then, we still kept the Foursquare mentality.
fast. Of this positioning.
Yeah, because, like, it'd always be 2 people in the front, 2 people in the back.
Well, and part of the reason is, I'm always on one side because that way I can actually see who's over to my side.
Yeah.
So
It was just really fucking annoying. Because I hate how fast you 2 fucking walk.
well, and it's like you'll notice when I was walking with both of you, I'd turn around and I'd see you like lagging
5
behind,
squares behind.
and it's like I had the weirdest mentality. I'd be like, I don't want to tell the other guy to slow down. So I just kind of slow down myself, and we'd create this weird this like socially distanced line and eventually he would turn around, see me lagging behind, and then he'd see Tyler behind me, and we'd just converge again.
Yeah.
We were an accordion.
Whenever we made the effort to ever walk anywhere, I always say, "Hey, let me fucking walk in the front." We walk at my pace now.
Yeah, and it's like when it was 4 of us, the 4 of us walking around, we would split into 2 groups because you would be with him, and you'd kind of like walk ahead, and I would stick back with Tyler, and so we'd be walking, and you'd see us like our groups would drift apart. And then eventually, you guys would notice, so you'd stop, and we'd drift back together.
Like, that's the thing too. Anytime I'm walking anywhere, I always have this single-minded mentality of like I'm still like, even though I'm with somebody else, I'm still like kind of walking alone because I'm just so used to my own pace, and like other people trying to either match it, or like I'll notice that somebody's lagging behind. I'm like, oh wait, I'm with other people.
Yeah, that's what I do. I try to match other people's pace. Like, if I'm walking alone with Tyler, I'm not going to speed ahead of him. I match his pace. If I'm walking with you, I'll match your pace. Mostly, I match pace with someone who walks fairly fast, so I walk fast.
Even with, like, distance of, like, we don't walk in, like, groups as much anymore. It's gotten worse with age because, like, sometimes I'll go on, like, nature walks with my mom. Like, today we went to a conservative area, or like a conservation area, and like I'm just walking ahead, like looking at everything, and she's like a square mile behind me, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Nah, if I forgot people were with me, then I would just be like wandering off in my own fucking place, like. Because the only times I tend to walk alone in, like, recent years has been when I'm downtown and I don't want to stick around.
Do you know what was my crowning moment?
What?
One of the times when we used to hang out with one of our friends and, like, on the weekends and, like, drink and stuff, we split up. It was you and me up against Eric and our other friend. They went behind the Walmart.
I remember
and
this.
we went forward.
We went around the front, and then you and him went around the back.
And we won!
We were there first.
You know why?
It wasn't even a competition.
It was because me and him found a shopping cart, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it in, and you push me.
Then we fucking booed around as well.
We were just being Was that the time where I carried you, and there were people coming by, and I'm like, Tyler, there are people, act normal, and you're just over my shoulder, and you look at the people, and you're like, hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Tyler, you're not fucking normal.
After those people walked away, we literally started Samoan dancing. I was like doing the fucking like stomps and shit, going ah,
and he just looks at me like, and then we reconverge, and it's like we just had adventures. We had a divergent storyline.
Because like as we're fucking crossing the street to get to the McDonald's, we just see the other two like just running across the road.
Yeah, they were hot on our heels.
It's like they spotted us. Like they had the mentality like we're skinny, we're fast, we can beat.
Let's
them.
just go.
They lost.
It was a real gamer move.
Man, I miss doing that actually.
I mean, we can go to McDonald's.
Wouldn't it be? Isn't it closed to like foot traffic?
Yeah, true. We can like pretend to be a car.
They will sometimes, depending on who's at the window, will actually accept you.
Really?
If you just walk up to it, due to like the restaurant bit being closed.
Wasn't there a thing where you could walk up to like the actual like foot traffic doors and you could like call and they'd actually like bring something out for you?
I think that in the early days.
Okay, I wasn't sure if they still do that. I obviously
I'm not
haven't
sure.
walked. I haven't walked to McDonald's in years since all this has started.
I just heard from my sister that they've actually had like some people.
It
just
really has been years since we've had a good old McDonald's run, hasn't
2019.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, 2019.
Because all this started happening like. Lockdown itself happened in April 2020.
That is mighty upsetting. I miss those days of just walking into McDonald's at the like middle of the night and just ordering like
a fucking hash brown.
Yeah, a hash brown and some French fries.
Because it was part of our little.
It was our
tradition.
ritual.
We would do whatever we're doing here. We'd do our podcast. We might watch something or whatever, and then we'd go out. And we'd always end the night by standing up, saying, "Let's go to McDonald's." We'd walk down to McDonald's, and then it's like, "All right, now let's split up. Let's go home." Nowadays, we spend that time either whacked out on a couch or watching another movie because what else are we gonna do? We aren't even going out anywhere.
I miss getting Big Mac meals. So I remember the one time.
I miss destroying a Big Mac at 11 at night.
Same.
Like,
It's
that
a
was the
different-
highlight of some of those nights.
It's a different feeling being like, being inebriated and you're like, I have the Big Mac.
Because, like, I remember one time we actually got, like, really, really drunk. And I was like, this is the one times I actually wanted to go to McDonald's with you guys because I had the money.
You had the urge.
You had the money, you had the munchies, you were ready.
And I got my full meal, which was a large drink, their large fry. I got a Big Mac, and I got a McDouble on the side.
Ooh, spicy.
And as I got the meal, I brought the tray over to the fucking table we always sat at. Fucking Connor and everyone was like, what the fuck is that? I was like,
This is food, my dudes. I mean, to be fair, I get a similar thing. I always get like a Big Mac meal. I always get the chicken Caesar wrap.
Yes.
Because there's a reason that is bar food. Because it's good.
It
when
is.
You're drunk. When you're drunk, you get like a chicken Caesar wrap, get some bacon on that. Fucking scrumptious.
You always get to not try to fucking steal one.
You remember that time that, like, we were really, like, that time that I had just a bag of weed and, like, we went to McDonald's? That's always been a highlight because, like, I got 4 McChickens that night.
I don't even remember that many McChickens.
I ate all of them in a half hour.
Man, I just remember getting my food, sitting at the table with Kyle because he had his food as well, and just having the lady call out Eric's order.
A couple times.
And it was just a fucking hash brown, and the look on her fucking face was like,
anyone order a hash brown?
It's not like the hash brown was in a bag. She was holding the hash brown.
It was the sink. Because no point in putting it in a fucking bag. You put it in the little sleeve they have for it, and you hold it up and say, who wants it?
Fucking Eric was walking up with, like, such confidence, like, yes, this is my hash brown.
He's like, thank you,
and then there's people that are like, you ordered just one hash brown, and, like, I remember whipping my head around, I'm like, yeah, I did.
When he came back to the table, I was like, Eric, you fucking lose.
Eric, why'd you order a fucking hash brown singular? And it's really funny when you do that and then you order another one.
Yeah! You fucking monster.
You're like, that was a good hash brown. I think I'm going to order a second one.
I really do just exist to inconvenience everybody else around me.
Because it was weird, because, like, we go to McDonald's, like, Kyle and I will actually order, like, maybe genuine meals. And this guy just gets a small fry.
I always like order.
I just like snack food,
nice.
man.
Like if I'm going all the way out there, I'm gonna order myself, like a fucking Big Mac or a wrap or something.
Yeah.
Like make the trip worth it.
Here's the thing, though. Like I can continue to eat snack food for a long time, but if I order an actual meal, I'm like, okay, I'm full now.
That's the whole point. You're meant to end the night full.
I like it.
Because if I end the night full, I can't come home and then have whatever leftovers I have in the fridge. You know?
No,
that's just my ritual.
I suppose, but whenever I have leftovers in the fridge, I like to eat them the following morning.
Especially in a case like that. You go to McDonald's, you go to get full, and when you go home, you know what you fucking do? You go to sleep.
You go to sleep.
Listen,
I never go to sleep.
There's no other feeling quite like microwaving spaghetti at 3 a.m.
I don't even microwave. I just refry it up.
You're you know what? Yeah.
Because like whenever
understanding.
Whenever my dad makes spaghetti and like everyone's like dished up their noodles and whatever sauce is left, I just put and whatever noodles is left in the sauce, mix it up, keep it like put the lid on so like it's all right. And whenever I'm hungry, I'll be like, man, I want some fucking spaghetti. And I just turn on the heater.
You see, what I always like is...
What time are we at?
Oh, yeah, we've gone on for another 10 minutes.
Okay, say your piece and then we're gone.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, the height of, like, leftover good times is when my mom decides, like, okay, for dinner tonight, I'm going to fry up some, like, bell peppers, put some rice and some beef in there and stuff like that. Simple things. Have some of that. Have a little leftover. I get up the next morning. I'm like, let's heat up some fucking bell peppers with rice and beef. It's good shit. It's a nice little thing to eat. I like it. And that is a good way to end the podcast, but start the day. What's a song?
When the moon hits your eye like a great pizza pie,
that's amore.